All right. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. We are here with the one and only Mrs. Suzie Schwartz. I'm Karaya on behalf of the Military Spouse brand. Suzie just received the 2021 Bonnie Amos Military Spouse Impact Award for Lifetime Achievement during the 5th annual Hiring Our Heroes Military Spouse Employment Summit, which just wrapped up a few minutes ago. So I hope everyone was able to tune in for that. But if you weren't, we're going to have a little bit of a recap with a very special lady. So I just want to say a little bit of an intro here, although I'm sure everyone recognizes Suzie. She's been a military spouse for many, many years and has been a golden example of service to all of us, to everyone around her and everything that she does. She's given so much of her talent and service in order to really elevate the conversation of military spouse employment and ensure that the progress continues. And she's not stopping now. I've had the pleasure to work with Suzie over the last many years through her incredible efforts with our brand, Military Spouse, and Military Spouse Magazine, and the Military Spouse of the Year Award program. I've personally witnessed on many occasions her genuine passion in every interaction she has with military spouses from around the world year after year. From her no-nonsense advice and killer fashion sense to her elaborate handmade thank you cards, she's truly one of a kind. But don't take my word for it. We get to hear from her now directly with a little Q&A. So welcome, Suzie.
Welcome to me. I'm telling you, thank you so much.
Yes.
This is a happy day. I was texting everybody during the ceremony just now, and it's weird to sit at home though by yourself, and get an award. But we're almost out of this, right? Next year, hopefully.
Yes,
things
yes,
will be
I agree.
in person.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a wonderful honor. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, we're so glad to have you here. So I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So as many of us just witnessed, you were presented with the Bonnie Amos Military Spouse Impact Award. For those who maybe missed the summit or couldn't tune in and are tuning in now, what was your reaction when you found out you were going to receive this award, and kind of what did that mean to you?
It was really very moving. Brian Alvarado called me from the Chamber of Commerce, and Brian is one of the Spouse of the Year people that I've known for many, many years. So I thought, as God is my witness, I thought he's going to ask me to do something. If you know, sometimes I say the only emails I get are when people are asking me to do something. And it's my own fault because I say yes to everything, but that's what I thought it was. So it was really a shock and an honor. It was really, it was very moving. But then I have to tell you, I had to keep it quiet, and I didn't kind of know at the very beginning I was supposed to keep it quiet. And again, if you know me, I kind of talk a little bit, and I told some people. So I had to run back and say, oh my God, I'm sorry.
Don't tell.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody. I didn't know. And then fast forward like 2 weeks ago, I saw my friend Sheila Casey, who got it a couple of years ago. She got the same award. And she yelled at me because I had not told her. And I said, well, I was supposed to keep a secret. And she said, well, it's out now. I said, oh, sorry, I didn't know. But anyway, it is really an honor. It's a great honor. I love Bonnie. Like I said in my remarks, that I've known her for years. So to get something with her name on it means a lot.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So you obviously received this because of your many, many years of experience and everything that you've been given. So turning a little bit specifically to employment, since that was what the summit was, what do you think is the biggest factor that's affecting military spouse employment, and how do you think that spouses can best overcome it?
The biggest factor, honestly, is the constant moving. And it's not that other people don't move. It's just that people know for sure that we're going to move. And it just can't, like they said during the whole summit, and I'm sure not everybody watched it, but they just kind of reiterated all the time that we haven't been able to move the needle on with all the programs and all the efforts that we've made. The rate of spouse unemployment or underemployment, kind of remains the same, and it's a little bit frustrating. But what we're hoping is that because of COVID, let's look for something, good that happened out of all this, that we truly know that remote learning, remote everything works, doesn't it? I hope that we don't go to that forever and always, 100%, but we definitely know that it works. So,
Yeah, so that was my next question. This has been a crazy year, like unprecedented.
yes.
So how do you think that it has most negatively impacted, like a year and a half of COVID and pandemic and a whole different life and employment that we're living? How do you
Right.
think it's most negatively impact spouse employment, but also positively impact? And how can we continue that?
Sure. I think as they've moved in, and I've heard this from several of them that moved early on during, COVID, that it took them much longer to find a network. It took them longer to kind of figure out even where to go. If you haven't been somewhere before, you don't know where those networks are, even if they are online. I mean, that was hard, and everybody was unsure at the beginning. Because we still sort of like to get started maybe on an in-person basis and then switch over, once we've kind of made those connections. But where do you go in your local community? We have a lot of nationwide programs, but what do we have at the local level? I think that's kind of exposed a little bit as far as, okay, nationwide programs are good, but how do we push out what's happening? Like they talked a lot about what's happening in San Antonio, which I didn't even know about. That's really great. And so I think we need to maybe focus down at the local level, maybe, huh? Just a
Mhm.
little bit more. Yeah.
So, how can organizations who support these spouses, military spouse and on, how can we support them in all areas of military life? How can we work together to continue to cultivate that collaborative culture for spouse employment?
I think one thing is to continue to go where the spouses are. And I don't mean just physically, but virtually. Figure out where it is that they go, whether it's, to your magazine, whether it's to the chamber, whether it is to the Rosie Network. They're starting a military spouse chamber of commerce kind of thing, to figure out where they go. And I have to tell you, sometimes I struggle even with current leadership in the Pentagon. Come on,
Mm.
figure out where young spouses go. They are not physically going into your buildings. They're just not. So
Yeah.
we have to figure out, we need to stay current and you need to stay on it. So when I would think, reach out to the younger spouses to find out. Honestly, that's really the key. And maybe at the beginning, Berenice Castillo with her thing about finding military spouses right at the very beginning of their journey. Wouldn't that have been great for all of us if we had somebody help us instead of, saying that you couldn't do it? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right. So I have to ask, what, after all your years, is your favorite part about military life?
Um,
If you can summarize.
uh, there's lots. It was actually meeting new people and moving. I hate to say I hated it, and yet I love the opportunity to meet new people. And that for the most part, military people, we stay in touch with each other. As you know, I'm the card queen of the world, right? And yesterday my husband got a wonderful note from someone that he served with as a second lieutenant.
Mm.
So to me, to know that I have that a community of friends across the country that you could reach out to, at any time is just absolutely amazing. And you get to start over. So if you screwed up at one location, you can start over.
Perfect. Just put it all behind you.
Just start over, new house, new
New
hairdo,
friends, new.
whatever, new everything, new career, just start over.
Oh, that's great. All right. So before we close, is there anything you wanted to say specifically? I know you've worked with our brand and our
Right.
audience for so many years, and we've appreciated you and your part so much. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you'd like to say to our spouses specifically who are trying to pursue their dreams of employment and find those the answers to the really hard things and the next steps? Is there any advice you would have for
Yeah,
them?
I'd like to say, first of all, follow your passion and never give up. One thing that they did not air that I said was to never accept the first no that you receive. And I guess I didn't come across correctly, but what I mean is, keep going and keep pursuing and never ever give up. And you're going to fall, you're going to make some mistakes, but keep going. I have to tell you that all of all the things I did, one early on where I got my husband in trouble for getting a job, but through that came some goodness afterwards. And they changed some of the policies within all of DOD that you've got to let spouses work, even if their others, their husband or wife is in a command position. And then fast forward many years later, I'm going to give you guys a plug a little bit right here at the end, because when Chris had me to lunch, I think it was at the Army Navy Country Club many years ago, and I didn't know what he wanted at all. And when he offered me, some sort of a position at Military Spouse Magazine, it was a gift of a lifetime. And I didn't really know it at the time. I didn't know that I would keep doing it. And I don't even think Chris or I or anybody really knew what my role would be. And I guess probably I've turned into more of an ambassador or whatever, but I mean, I talk about it all the time. This week we had a symposium for retired Air Force 4-stars, and I'm still talking about it. So I want to thank you guys too for all you continue to do. And together we're still going. Like you said, I guess I'm going. One of these days I got to stop, but for now I'm still going.
Well, we'll pick up the torch where you left off.
There you go. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to take any more of your time.
Thanks.
I'm sure you have some more cards to make and more lives to change. So thank you so much for your time. I love seeing all that you do, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.